Evolution. In the beginning, there was nothing. Except for a really small cosmic egg. But this was not an egg you could eat for breakfast. It contained everything that we see around us today. In fact, back then, you wouldn't probably be able to hear sound waves, so this would be impossible. Then, something happened. The Big Bang. Not that type of a bang. Yeah, that type of bang. The universe just suddenly expanded. It did not blow up, but it just expanded and was very hot. It's hard to imagine how dense the cosmic egg really was.
Infinitely dense.
Incomprehensible. Now the cosmic egg was extremely small. Picture something about this size, the distance in between my finger and thumb, except for 1,000,000 times smaller. From this, we have all that we can see around us today. This cosmic egg expanded around 15 billion years ago. We don't know exactly how it happened, but it happened, and that's why we're here today. At that time, everything was catastrophic. It was too hot for certain things to come together and create planets, so it would take many more years for everything to cool down and finally form. Our Earth, for example, formed around 4.5 billion years ago. Now let's head over to the lab. And for us to become what we are today, many little changes had to occur. So, at the beginning, once the Earth had cooled, we were able to get protocells, then eventually protokaryotes, and with the abundance of oxygen we could move on to single-celled eukaryotes, then multicellular eukaryotes, then eventually to plants, animals, fungi, then eventually we could go to us human beings.
Nye the Science Guy. Nye the Science Guy. Nye the Science Guy. Nye the Science Guy.
Inertia is a property of matter.
Nye the Science Guy. Nye the Science Guy.
Oh, that Garfield. Hello, and welcome to Nye the Science Guy. Today we will be going through a timeline for evolution and biodiversity of living things. For us to be here today, there must have been a beginning. That beginning was the Big Bang. The Big Bang occurred 15 billion years ago. And it is the model for how our universe began. At the start of the Big Bang, within 1 second, so much had happened. Very fast inflation had caused it to expand. And then the formation of electrons and quarks occurred. Then, with the quick cooling of quarks, became neutrons and protons. Then, 3 minutes later, it cooled a lot more, and electrons, protons, and neutrons were all formed. Then, it would eventually take 300,000 years for the first atoms to be formed. Then, almost 1 billion years later, the first elements, hydrogen and helium, were formed, along with the first solar systems.
How do you know?
Well, there are 3 main points and proofs. for the theory of the Big Bang. One would be the redshift, that the wavelengths are increasingly becoming farther and farther apart between our Earth and the galaxies around us. The number 2 point would be the leftover radiation. In 1965, 2 scientists found an extraterrestrial noise coming from all directions around us, which actually was the radiation left over from the Big Bang, supposedly. And number 3 would be the abundance of helium all across our universe and distant galaxies, which is an important part at the beginning of the theory of the Big Bang. Then, there's the theory of how our solar system was formed. Our solar system was formed based on the solar nebula theory.
Wow!
Clouds of gases and dust formed a rotating disk cloud, condensed and collapsed due to gravity. And how is a solar nebula formed, you ask? Well, with the embryonic sun called a protostar. It is surrounded by rotating clouds of rocks, metals, ice, and dust. And gravity compacts it all together and makes a nice, beautiful sun. With the formation of our solar system came our Earth.
Wow.
Which we live on today. And now to the Earth. Our Earth is a pretty sweet place. Earth, full of life and wonder. A place where I can even snow in May, the day before is Mother's Day. But once some people said it was a hell on Earth. The Earth was formed 4.5 billion years ago. The Earth's atmosphere was filled with many chemicals, such as nitrogen, hydrogen, sulfur dioxide, methane, cyanide, water, carbon monoxide, ammonia, and hydrogen sulfide.
That was a mouthful.
There was no oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere, because all of the oxygen that was being produced was trapped in the iron core. Yet, as the Earth began to cool, the crust was able to form, which took around 400 million years. Which led to a lot of evolution.
Ow!
But how's the moon formed?
Well, according to the Great Impact hypothesis, a rock approximately the size of Mars hit the Earth, causing a giant part of the Earth to break away and form a moon that was round after a bunch of gravitational processes that would rotate around the Earth because of Earth's gravitational pull.
Hi, I'm Dr. Smudge, and I am a biologist here at the...
Hey, aren't you that guy that failed grade 9 science? What a poser.
Hey, you! Sorry, I just had to deal with a situation. Oh, I have to go change my shirt. Excuse me for a second. Abiogenesis is a theory that states that all living organisms evolved from non-organic materials. First, through abiotic synthesis, organic molecules were formed, such as monomers.
Wow.
These monomers combine to form polymers, such as nucleic acids and proteins.
Looks like Dr. Smuts has finally come out of the closet.
Shut the front door, Nye. Anyway, as I was saying, these polymers came together to form self-replicating molecules such as DNA and RNA. Finally, these organic molecules packaged together to form your first protocells and protobionts. These 2 scientists named Miller and Urey created an experiment to see if the atmosphere was capable of creating organic molecules. They created a contraption that combined molecules such as methane, ammonia, water, and combined it with electricity to see if they would get any organic molecules. In the end, they found that it created organic molecules and that abiogenesis is possible.
Hi, I'm Hugo Felice.
Hey Hugo, what were you doing in there?
I just had to go to the washroom, I'm sorry. Prokaryotic cells fossils have been found that are dated up to 3.5 billion years ago approximately. These prokaryotic cells evolved from protobionts and protocells. The prokaryotic creatures that lived back then were bacteria. One type of bacteria was archaebacteria, which lived in extreme heat, extreme cold, extreme salt, or very little oxygen because it's toxic. And the other type was eubacteria, which is all the other bacteria. The invagination of prokaryotes was the first part of the step into eukaryotes. They folded in their membranes, and that became the endoplasmic reticulum and the nuclear membrane. Endosymbiosis was believed to be the thing that created mitochondrion and chloroplast. Well, this is basically what happened. Two prokaryotes, one was larger than the other. The bit larger one engulfed the smaller one. The smaller one benefited because it got safety and nutrient-rich environment to stay in. The big one got energy from the smaller one. So they both helped each other. It was called symbiosis. Then over time, the smaller one evolved into either chloroplast to become an autotrophic eukaryote, and the smaller one also evolved into a mitochondrion to become a heterotrophic eukaryote. After the creation of single-celled eukaryotes, we now have protists, which are multicellular eukaryotes. These multicellular eukaryotes provided the building blocks to make plants, fungi, and animals that you see today. Through evolution, we are able to see massive changes in these different groups over time.
In the past, there have been many scientists with different beliefs on evolution, such as Archbishop James Ussher of Armagh.
I've got it! I believe that the world was created on 4004, October 23rd, BC.
And Charles Darwin.
Isn't nature just wonderful? I believe in the theory of evolution.
And Baron Cuvier.
Moi, je crois dans des catastrophes qui a affecté tout le monde. And that happened at 10 to the power of 27 degrees Celsius. That's quite the 3rd degree sunburn.
I'm not ready.
Oh my lord. I would like to finish this project. Have been found up to approximately 3.5 billion years ago. I can't believe John is doing that, and they all...
And from the formation of the Earth, then we could get... No wait, we'll have to restart this. The Earth had cooled. We were able to get...
You're started.
Yeah. Here, you can turn it off and then... Okay. Ayo, but... Okay.
Multicellular eukaryotes called protists. What the frig?
Were you filming?
Burst! Yes, just burst it.
And with the formation of our solar system, there was the formation of our Earth, which we live on today, if you were not knowledgeable about that fact.
John Nye the Science Guy. John Nye the Science Guy. John Nye the Science Guy.